Marcus Kim. I'm an applicant for your iOS developer position, and you had asked me to implement a search feature as part of the application and also submit an accompanying video explaining my code. So I just wanted to walk you through my implementation, and I thought I'd just go file by file. So this first file is country.swift. It's basically a struct that holds decoded JSON data and saves it to these properties. And these properties are the key pieces of data you asked us to display in the table views. So along with the properties, we have a custom mapping of the JSON keys to our property names. And in the case we have any failures to decode, we have default values implemented here. Take you on to the second file, which is country table view cell .swift. So this is basically just a definition of what each cell is going to look like in our table view. So you can see that we have some constants as far as what we want for padding and inner spacing, just some formatting constants. We have a set of properties here. So we are using labels for each piece of data in the cell. We have a reuse ID for registering and dequeuing the cell. One thing I want to note here is that we are enforcing a programmatic UI. So in the case of someone using the interface builder, we just want to not allow that. Right here, we have a function for returning everything back to nil before a reuse. Here we have all the setup for the UI, what everything's going to look like. Mainly, we just have a bunch of nested stack views, and that's what the table cells look like. I have the excuse me, the deal messages struct. So this is just basically an array of messages for daily deals that the user might get for different countries and different cities around the world. So this is a feature I just implemented just for fun, but basically we serve up an alert to the user at random, and the message on the alert is one of these messages, which we pull randomly. We have is the config file. So this is basically just a list of constants that we'll use when we're making API calls to the JSON that you provided to us. So these constants are going to be used in this network service file, which I'll describe shortly. All right. And the next file is the network service. So this file, basically it handles all the calls. So it fetches the data, it validates the data, decodes the data from the JSON, and it returns an array of country objects. So in this file, we have a custom error type, which basically handles every case that we can have for a failure. We have a protocol here. So this is a custom protocol. Basically, any class that conforms to this protocol, if it implements fetch countries, of course, then that means it could be passed to the view model. And then we have the actual class here, network service. So we have the initializer here. So the initializer has a default value with the configuration information that we looked at earlier. And then here is the fetch country. So this is what's actually going to talk to the URL, the JSON, and fetch that data. So basically, this is the way this works is this is a while loop. So this is an endless while loop that will keep going and going until we have a successful call, basically, or until there's an error thrown. So we do have a lot of failure cases here. So we have these guard statements, And in each case, we can possibly throw an error. So it's just going to keep going and going and going until we either make the successful call or we throw errors. And then we could set the number of retries here. This is from the configuration file that we discussed earlier. But basically, this whole thing throws. So this whole function throws. And if you wanted to implement tests, I didn't implement tests. But if you wanted to implement tests, basically you could just have this. You could just test this whole thing. So that is that file. Next file here. This is countries view model. So this is our view model. It's going to handle the majority of the filtering and all the data that has to do with the table. So just want to note that we've made this the main actor, which means all the changes are going to be on the main thread. We have 3 different properties here that all accept a list of, or I'm sorry, an array of countries. So the all countries is just going to be a list of countries that can't be modified, basically. Um, and then filter, this is going to be the list that holds um, the countries that show after you've typed in a capital or a country name. And then the original list is just a master list of all the countries in the JSON. Um, what else? Just want to note that here, so we can accept any class basically that conforms to network service protocol that we defined in network service. So this is it's almost like an endpoint. Basically, any class that conforms to network service protocol could be passed in here. It's encapsulated. Uh, Load is where we're going to invoke the call on the service object, which is our network service. So we're going to call fetch countries in our service file, in our network service file. And there is a fallback here. This fallback is load from bundle, and you can see load from bundle is down here. Load from bundle just means that we're going to pull all the JSONs from our local files. I have a countries.json file right here. It's all the same information from the URL that you provided to us, but I just have it here as a fallback in case the loading fails. And then if it does complete loading, then we're going to assign that list of countries to these properties. Reset filter. So this is basically kind of like a listener, which is going to be called here. So this goes here and filters, then assigns to this filtered property, and then that's what gets displayed. Show deal. This is basically it's grabbing a random country for the deal feature that I implemented. So the deal feature just fetches a random country, and the country would have an associated deal with it. I'll show you what that looks like. We also have load from, we discussed load from bundle. This is for any debounces. So that's basically the country's view model. To our next file, the country's view controller. So I just want to say that I didn't use storyboards because I've used storyboards as just asking for a lot of merge conflicts. So since this is a simple UI, I just went with a programmatic setup here. So we're not using the interface builder. We're just declaring all these elements, these views programmatically. So this is setting everything up. This is setting the table up. Setting up search. This makes sure that everything is on the main thread because we want the UI to be priority. This did pull is the most notable thing about the file. This is the custom feature that I implemented that serves up a random deal from a random country. So we pull deal messages from that array that we've discussed earlier, which I'll show you when I run the app. But basically, it just triggers when you refresh the table view. So that is the country's view controller. I'm going to show the app running. So here is the UI for the app. You can see I have a scrollable list of countries in the order that um, was given to me in the JSON. I'm going to just type a few things. So I'm going to type AFG for Afghanistan. You can see that the results are showing for the country name. I can type BER for Berlin, and it populates the list or filters the list just for the capital as well. And here is my custom feature. You can see that when you pull down and refresh the list, the user is served an alert for a deal and then a location. In addition to that, the location is filtered in the table view. And you can go ahead and cancel. So there is my application. Thank you so much for your consideration. I hope you have a good day. Thank you.